Hi everyone. Today is the fifth Sunday of Easter, and it also happens to be Mother's Day, so I wish, on behalf of the community of St. Paul's, wish you a very happy Mother's Day today. There's a story that I've told about once before, about a tightrope walker who was crossing between two buildings, pushing a wheelbarrow as he went along. And the crowd were amazed. And he asked them, once he crossed, "Do you believe I can do it again?" And the crowd yelled out, "For sure." And then he looked for a volunteer to sit in the wheelbarrow as he pushed the wheelbarrow across. However, there was a stunned silence. The point being is that it's very easy to believe that something is possible. It's quite a different matter when we're called to put our trust in someone's hands. Martin Luther once said, "Belief only becomes faith at the point of action." Only when we truly put our faith and our trust in God's word does it truly become faith. In John chapter 14, the passage that we have for our reading for today, we hear that Jesus tells his disciples that he needs to leave, that he needs to go away. And we see that they are worried and concerned. They're worried how they will cope as sheep without a shepherd. What are they to do if Jesus leaves? Their whole life had revolved around him and his ministry. However, Jesus tells them to put their trust in him. Yet, we also don't easily trust, do we? We also become anxious when there are situations beyond our own control. And so, there's a challenge for each of us. Also, during this time of uncertainty, to trust in God. In John chapter 14, verse 6, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." In this reading, we find that Jesus speaks of his divinity. It's one of the I am sayings. The proof comes much later as Jesus goes to the cross. And just when we think that Jesus will die there, after 3 days, he is raised to life. It shows his power over creation. Jesus almost says, "I told you so." Their trust, their faith wasn't misplaced. Certainly Jesus does show that he is the way, the truth, and the life. What he spoke was truth, and his way is sure. He is the path to life and life eternal. His disciples can see in him the promise of new life, the promise of life, not just of new life in this life, but in the life to come. In him there is life and truth and hope. As believers, this truth and this knowledge, this promise that God will lead us and guide us, that he will heal us and restore us, that he will continue to remain with us, is made sure. So even during this time where many will lose heart, many will wonder, where is God? And yet we know that God has never abandoned his people, not even though the times may be difficult. But God remains with us. He has not abandoned us. And so, you and I are to fix our eyes on God, to trust in him, and he will allow us to overcome. I pray that you will remain blessed, that you will keep safe, that you will look after yourself until our time comes when we can be back together.